You know the story. We all do. A curious little girl, a rabbit with a pocket watch, and a long, long fall down a rabbit hole. You land in this whimsical, magical world full of talking animals and crazy tea parties. It's the classic children's tale we all grew up with. But what if that whole story, the one we think we know, is a lie? What if the tale of Alice isn't a fantasy at all? Today, we're pulling back the curtain on a much, much darker theory. Wonderland isn't a magical place. Not even close. It's actually the terrifyingly detailed account of a powerful psychedelic trip. 'Cause, let's be real, did you ever stop and realize she's literally high the entire time? All right, let's lay out the evidence. Our case begins the second Alice hits the bottom of that rabbit hole. She's in this bizarre, lonely hall, totally disoriented. And then she sees it, the first clue. Now, this isn't some cute, magical moment. I want you to picture this. You're alone, you're lost, and there's this strange, unlabeled bottle practically glowing in the dark. Any rational person would run, right? But not Alice. Nope, she drinks the whole thing. And the effects? Well, they're immediate and they are terrifying. Look at this list. These aren't magical transformations. These are textbook symptoms of a powerful hallucinogen. You've got body distortion, a complete loss of who you are, your brain just stops working right, and these wild, out-of-control mood swings. This isn't fantasy, people. It's a play-by-play of a mind coming completely unglued. And believe me, the evidence just keeps piling up. After she almost drowns in a pool of her own tears, a tiny Alice wanders off into the woods and finds her next, let's call it a fix, offered up by a very questionable new character. So the whole scene is hazy, it's thick with smoke. The caterpillar speaks in what the book itself calls a languid, sleepy voice. I mean, come on, he's clearly high. He's smoking a hookah, which, by the way, was famously used for smoking opium, something that was totally legal back in the Victorian era. So let's just break this down for a second. An opium-smoking caterpillar tells a lost little girl to eat a random mushroom he found in order to alter her perception of reality. You can't make this stuff up. The author Lewis Carroll, he isn't even trying to hide it. And just look at the effects. Again, this isn't some gentle, sparkly, magical change. The book describes it as a violent blow. Her neck stretches out grotesquely like a serpent. It's a jarring, physical distortion. I mean, that's classic body horror stuff you hear about from people having a really, really bad acid trip. Okay, on to Exhibit B, the madness. Because if Wonderland is just one big hallucination, then all its inhabitants, they're not just quirky characters. No, they're twisted personifications of actual mental illnesses. Just think about it. The Mad Hatter? He's a textbook case of mercury poisoning. That was a real thing that happened to hat makers. It literally drove them insane. The Queen of Hearts, with her explosive, uncontrollable rage and constant threats to behead everyone, a chillingly accurate portrait of narcissistic personality disorder. And the Cheshire Cat, who literally disintegrates and reappears before your eyes, that's a classic depiction of the dissociation that can happen with schizophrenia. I mean, the book doesn't even try to hide it. The Cheshire Cat, who is maybe the only one who seems to know what's going on, he just states it plainly. The one thing that defines this entire world is madness. So it begs the question, right? Where did all of these dark, twisted, hallucinatory visions come from? Well, to answer that, you gotta look at the man behind the curtain himself. See, Lewis Carroll was just a pen name for Charles Dodgson. He was this respectable, super brilliant mathematician. But you have to remember, he lived in a time when society's relationship with certain drugs was, well, let's just say it was very different. This stuff, laudanum, was everywhere. It was a mix of opium and alcohol. People used it for headaches, for coughs, to calm their nerves, or, just for fun. This powerful, mind-altering opiate was basically as common as taking an aspirin is today. And it gives us a very, very plausible source for all the vivid, surreal, and frankly disturbing imagery that fills every page of this book. So, the evidence has been presented. Let's just look at the facts and deliver the verdict, shall we? You've got an unstable world, a main character who is constantly eating and drinking things that warp her reality, a whole cast of characters who personify severe mental illness, body horror, a total loss of identity. I mean, the conclusion is unavoidable. Wonderland was never a fairy tale. It's a psychedelic nightmare. It's a stunningly accurate depiction of a mind losing its grip on reality.
So the next time you think of Alice, try not to picture a sweet little girl in a magical land. Picture a mind that's become untethered, lost in a chemical haze. Because here's the final chilling thought. Maybe the rabbit hole isn't a place you fall into. Maybe it's a state of mind you just can't escape.